He looked disturbed. "What? What?" he said hastily. "Curiosity is a dangerous petition. It is well I have not taken a vow to accord every request." "But there can be no danger in complying with it, sir." "Utter it, Jane, but I wish that instead of a mere inquiry into, perhaps a secret, it was a wish for half my estate."
"Now, King Ahasuerus, what do I want with half your estate? Do you think I am a Jew usurer, seeking good investment in land? I would much rather have all your confidence. You will not exclude me from your confidence if you admit me to your heart?"
"You are welcome to all my confidence that is worth having, Jane. But for God's sake don't desire a useless burden. Don't long for poison. Don't turn out a downright Eve on my hands."
"Why not, sir? You have just been telling me how much you like to be conquered, and how pleasant over-persuasion is to you. Don't you think I had better take advantage of the confession, and begin and coax and entreat, even cry and be sulky if necessary, for the sake of a mere essay of my power?"
"I dare you to any such experiment. Encroach, presume, and the game is up."
"Is it, sir? You soon give in. How stern you look now. Your eyebrows have become as thick as my finger, and your forehead resembles what in some very astonishing poetry I once saw styled a blue piled thunder loft. That will be your married look, sir, I suppose?"
"If that will be your married look, I, as a Christian, will soon give up the notion of consorting with a mere sprite of salamander. But what had you to ask, thing? Out with it."
"There, you are less than civil now, and I like rudeness a great deal better than flattery. I'd rather be a thing than an angel. This is what I have to ask. Why did you take such pains to make me believe you wished to marry Miss Ingram?"
"Is that all? Thank God it is no worse."
And now he knit his black brows, looked down, smiling at me, and stroked my hair, as if well pleased at seeing a danger averted.
"I think I may confess," he continued, "even although I should make you a little indignant, Jane, and I have seen what a fire spirit you can be when you are indignant. You glowed in the cool moonlight last night, when you mutinied against fate, and claimed your rank as my equal. Jane, by the by, it was you who made me the offer."
"Of course I did. But to the point, if you please, sir. Miss Ingram?"
"Well, I feigned courtship of Miss Ingram, because I wished to render you as madly in love with me as I was with you. And I knew jealousy would be the best ally I could call in for the furtherance of that end."
"Excellent. Now you are small, no one whit bigger than the end of my little finger. It was a burning shame, and a scandalous disgrace to act in that way. Did you think nothing of Miss Ingram's feelings, sir?"
"Her feelings are concentrated in one, pride, and that needs humbling. Were you jealous, Jane?"
"Never mind, Miss Rochester. It is in no way interesting to you to know that. Answer me truly once more. Do you think Miss Ingram will not suffer from your dishonest coquetry? Won't she feel forsaken and deserted?"
"Impossible. When I told you how she, on the contrary, deserted me, the idea of my insolvency cooled, or rather extinguished, her flame in a moment."
"You have a curious design in mind, Miss Rochester. I am afraid your principles on some points are eccentric."
"My principles were never trained, Jane. They may have grown a little hoary for want of attention."
"Once again, seriously, may I enjoy the great good that has been vouchsafed to me, without fearing that anyone else is suffering the bitter pain I myself felt a while ago?"
"That you may, my good little girl. There is no other being in the world has the same pure love for me as yourself. For I lay that pleasant unction to my soul, Jane, a belief in your affection."
I turned my lips to the hand that lay on my shoulder. I loved him very much, more than I could trust myself to say, more than words had powers to express.
"Ask something more," he said presently. "It is my delight to be entreated, and to yield."
I was again ready with my request. Communicate your intentions to Mrs. Fairfax, sir. She saw me with you last night in the hall, and she was shocked. Give her some explanation before I see her again. It pains me to be misjudged by so a good woman.
Go to your room and put on your bonnet, he replied. I mean you to accompany me to Millcote this morning, and while you prepare for the drive, I will enlighten the whole lady's understanding. Did you think, Jane, you had given the world for love and consider it well lost?
I believe she thought I had forgotten my station, and yours, sir.
Station. Station? Your station is in my heart and on the necks of those who would insult you, now or hereafter. Go.
I was soon dressed, and when I heard Mr. Rochester quit Mrs. Fairfax's parlour, I hurried down to it. The old lady had been reading her morning portion of Scripture, the lesson for the day. Her Bible lay open before her, and her spectacles were upon it. Her occupation, suspended by Mr. Rochester's announcement, seemed now forgotten. Her eyes, fixed on the blank wall opposite, expressed the surprise of a quiet mind, stirred by unwonted tidings. Seeing me, she roused herself. She made a sort of effort to smile, and framed a few words of congratulation. But the smile expired, and the sentence was abandoned unfinished. She put up her spectacles, shut the Bible, and pushed her chair back from the table. I feel so astonished, she began. I hardly know what to say to you, Miss Eyre. I have surely not been dreaming, have I? Sometimes I half fall asleep when I'm sitting alone and fancy things that have never happened. It has seemed to me more than once when I have been in a doze that my dear husband, who died 15 years since, has come in and sat down beside me, and that I have even heard him call me by my name, Alice, as he used to do. Now, can you tell me whether it is actually true that Mr. Chester has asked you to marry him? Don't laugh at me, but I really thought he came in here 5 minutes ago and said that in a month you would be his wife. He has said the same thing to me, I replied. He has? Do you believe him? Have you accepted him? Yes. She looked at me bewildered. I could never have thought it. He is a proud man, all the Rochesters were proud, and his father, at least, liked money. He too has always been called careful. He means to marry you? He tells me so. She surveyed my whole person. In her eyes I read that they had there found no charm powerful enough to solve the enigma. It passes me, she continued, but no doubt it is true since you say so. How it will answer I cannot tell. I really don't know. Equality of position and fortune is often advisable in such cases, and there are 20 years of difference in your ages. He might almost be your father. No, indeed, Mrs. Fairfax, exclaimed I, nettled. He is nothing like my father. No one who saw us together would suppose it for an instant. Mr. Rochester looks as young, and is as young as some men at 25. Is it really for love he is going to marry you? She asked. I was so hurt by her coldness and scepticism that the tears rose to my eyes. I'm sorry to grieve you, pursued the widow, but you are so young and so little acquainted with men. I wish to put you on your guard. It is an old saying that all is not gold that glitters, and in this case I do fear there will be something found to be different to what either you or I expect. Why? Am I a monster? I said. Is it impossible that Mr. Rochester should have a sincere affection for me? No, you are very well, and much improved of late, and Mr. Rochester, I dare say, is fond of you. I've always noticed that you were a sort of pet of his. There are times when, for your sake, I have been a little uneasy at his marked preference, and have wished to put you on your guard, but I did not like to suggest even the possibility of wrong. I knew such an idea would shock, perhaps offend you, and you were so discreet and so thoroughly modest and sensible. I hoped you might be trusted to protect yourself. Last night I cannot tell you what I suffered when I sought all over the house and could find you nowhere, nor the master either. And then at 12 o'clock saw you come in with him. Well, never mind that now, I interrupted impatiently. It is enough that all was right. I hope all will be right in the end, she said. But believe me, you cannot be too careful. Try and keep Mr. Chester at a distance. Distrust yourself as well as him. Gentlemen in his station are not accustomed to marry their governesses. I was growing truly irritated. Happily, Adele ran in. Let me go to Millcote too, she cried. Mr. Chesterwant thought there is so much room in the new carriage. Beg him to let me go, mademoiselle. That I will, Adele. And I hastened away with her, glad to quit my gloomy monsters. The carriage was ready. They were bringing it round to the front, and my master was pacing the pavement, Pilot following him backwards and forwards. Adele may accompany us, may she not, sir?
I told her no. I'll have no brats. I'll have only you.
Do let her go, Mr. Rochester, if you please. It would be better.
Not it. She will be restrained.
He was quite peremptory, both in look and voice. The chill of Mrs. Fairfax's warnings and the damp of her doubts were upon me. Something of unsubstantiality and uncertainty had beset my hopes. I have lost the sense of power over him. I was about mechanically to obey him, without further remonstrance. But as he helped me into the carriage, he looked at my face.
What is the matter? He asked. All the sunshine is gone. Do you really wish the bairn to go? Will it annoy you if she is left behind?
I would far rather she went, sir.
Then off for your bonnet and back, like a flash of lightning,
cried he to Adele. She obeyed him, with what speed she might.